Welcome to Ballet Bites. Today we're diving deep into that electrifying artistry of Suzanne Farrell and how she rewired musicality and dance.
I'm stoked, really excited to get into how she melded risk with musical storytelling and movement.
Right. It's like, Farrell didn't just nail Balanchine's steps. She infused her dancing with a sort of risk that let the music literally speak. It's like her body would answer the orchestra.
Exactly. And it's so fascinating how that risk isn't about, showy tricks, but more about taking a chance with timing and phrase.
Yep, absolutely. Take her approach to what's called risk in musicality. For her, risk meant allowing the phrase to lead, sometimes arriving just a hair later than you'd expect, like reaching for that last note, and yet it all lands perfectly.
Yep, that's right. And it's not about being late, it's that calculated delay that adds drama and depth. You can almost see how she let her upper body, her torso, not just follow the steps, but, really converse with the music.
Exactly. It's like she was dancing with language, the language of the score. Think of it. Long lines pulled off axis, balances flirting with gravity. It wasn't just a physical feat, but a musical dialogue.
Now, when we look at works like Diamonds from 1967 and Mozartiana from 1981, there's a whole layered conversation in the choreography itself.
Definitely. In Diamonds, for example, the choreography wanted more than just precise technique. It was about embracing that spacious, measured amplitude. It requires a kind of full measure presence that, goes beyond just hitting positions.
Right. And if a dancer merely ticks the technical boxes, they miss that expansive quality that Farrell embodied. It's like the choreography outgrows you if you're too focused on just the steps.
Exactly so. And in Mozartiana, Balanchine crafted it nearly like a farewell tribute, balancing deep spirituality with intricate footwork. The dance asks, for that inner silence, yet bursts into playful, precise Allegro.
One thing I find interesting is how these ballets manage to board that line between technical perfection and soulful risk. But don't you think there's a risk, too, of the technical aspects overshadowing the musical soul?
Oh, absolutely, and that's the crux. The choreography builds on that very tension. It's not about overly polished technique where you're just, executing a task. Instead, like in Mozartiana, you're asked to switch from, prayerful stillness to a lively Petit Allegro in the same passage.
True. It really is a dance of contrasts, isn't it? The preghiera demands a quiet conviction, while the gige launches into a burst of energy. It's so much more layered.
Definitely layered. And what's more, this kind of depth didn't just happen in isolation. It's been passed down, transmitted, through dedicated coaching and even video archives maintained by the Balanchine Foundation.
Right. Which is such a smart move because it's not like the dancers are just copying movements. They're feeling the musical choices from the original conversations captured in those tapes.
Exactly. I mean, think about it. When Suzanne Farrell herself coached, she emphasized that breath should lead the movement. It's like, don't set your head too early. Let those eyes and that weight shift be in sync with the score.
Yeah. And partnering plays a huge part too. In her mold, a partner isn't a static guide. They actually offer a dynamic path that aligns with the music's pulse.
Yes, the ideal partner here is more like a co-architect in crafting the dance, tracking the arc of an arabesque, giving space and knowing when to support that risky moment in timing.
Now, what gets me thinking is how this approach survives in our current social media climate, where it seems like, flashy highlights win the day.
Oh, for sure. Today's clips are often 6 seconds long, capturing those dazzling développés and frozen balances, but that barely scratches the surface of what Farrell's lasting musical challenge is about.
Yep. And here's the kicker. The subtle risk. The nuanced delays. These aren't as easily captured in a 6-second loop. It's almost like you need a full performance to really feel that musical conversation.
Precisely. And dancers counter that by practicing phrase rehearsals, where they experiment with, different internal emphases. One time the crescendo might live in the upper body, another time in the footwork. It's all about discovering what makes the score sing.
Right. And then you have the matter of stillness. Real stillness that functions as a musical rest. Not a frozen statue, but a vibrant pause that comes alive with meaning.
Absolutely. In Diamonds, that regal pause elevates the whole piece. It's like a rest in a symphony that builds anticipation, making the following action all the more impactful.
And isn't that what makes her legacy so enduring? The move wasn't about battling for the spotlight. It was about inviting us, the audience, to truly listen, to feel the space between steps.
Yes, exactly. And I find that particularly refreshing. It shows that risk in dance isn't about flamboyance. It's about daring to let the music breathe. It's almost like she said, let the music lead, and trust your body to follow. even if it dares to arrive a tad late.
Right. But here's where I must, challenge a bit. Sometimes, emphasizing musical risk can be seen as compromising technical discipline. Do you think there's ever a danger of letting that spontaneity derail precision?
That's an interesting point. I think, the beauty of Farrell's approach is that it's perfectly calibrated. The risk is not recklessness. It's a carefully measured delay, like a well-rehearsed pause that still lands on the musical downbeat.
True. I see what you mean. It's like having the best of both worlds, where every microbeat matters, and yet there's room for expressive deviation without losing the thread of the music.
Exactly. And that's why coaches today place so much emphasis on tiny adjustments, like not setting the head too early, or letting the shoulders lead the step. These micro-adjustments create seismic results in musicality.
And that's something that really ties into how Balanchine interpreters, past and present, approach these works. They're not just performing choreography, they're engaging with a living legacy of musical dialogue.
Right on. And that legacy is, in a way, like a checklist for dancers. Prioritize breath-led phrasing, communicate musically with your partner, let your upper body, your épaulement, lead the step, and train those transitions until they feel like part of the melody.
Absolutely. And let's not forget the idea of editing bravura, keeping the jump sharp, but softening the landing so that it feels like the music itself is unfolding.
Exactly. It's about choosing when to show off and when to let the music do the talking. A double pirouette that unfolds into a graceful off-axis port de bras might speak volumes more than a barrage of flashy triple turns.
Yep. It's like, balancing knife-sharp technique with velvet-like musicality. Not too harsh, not too soft, just the right blend.
Indeed. And when the audience watches a dancer channel that legacy, they feel the moment expand. Like the phrase is stretching out before they even know it's coming.
So, if we boil it all down, the essence of Farrell's influence is that risk in musicality is not about the trick, it's about letting the score breathe through the movement.
Right. And through careful coaching, thoughtful revivals by companies, and even archival practice through organizations like the Balanchine Foundation, this deeper musical dare is passed on. Dancers today are encouraged to listen with their eyes, to feel the phrasing not just in steps, but in every micro moment of transition.
Absolutely. And that, ultimately, becomes the template for what it means to be a true Balanchine interpreter, courageously channeling musical risk while honoring every note with precision and heart.
Well said. Whether you're on stage or in the audience, you get to witness that extraordinary interplay where risk meets rigor, where the pause is as colorful as the leap, and where every move dares to make the music not just heard, but deeply felt.
Yep, exactly. Thanks for joining us in this deep dive into the legacy of Suzanne Farrell and the living art of musical risk. Till next time, keep your eyes on the dance and your ears on the music.